Hi everyone! So the last time I made one of these videos, I didn't have a joke. Today I do. And it just happens to be in Russian. So it goes like this. Что без языка живет, а говорит radio. Which means, what lives without a tongue but speaks? A radio. There you go. That's why you don't want me doing corny jokes at the start. Cue intro. Hello everybody and welcome to Rapport Building First. People call me Mel. So in my previous video, I talked about my New Year's resolution, which was to learn how to say hello and thank you in the languages of all of my patrons who come from overseas. I took you through my why, because it builds connections with people in ways that they do not expect. Today, I want to tell you about the how. Now you might be thinking, well, there is an easy solution, Mel. Google Translate. To that, I say yes and no. So Google Translate is a very handy app to have on your phone. Yes, I have it on my phone. I use it quite a lot. And I've got to admit, if I'm writing something in a different language on, say, Instagram or on Twitter, I do generally check that I'm getting my grammar right. It's also very good for looking up a noun or a verb if I don't happen to know that noun or verb. And that includes in the languages which I'm reasonably proficient in, such as French, Spanish, and German. However, there's a couple of little problems with Google Translate. Number one is that when I am in my immediate class vicinity, I generally don't have my phone on me. I keep it in my bag, or else I might even keep it in my bag up in a staff area. So I don't always take my entire bag down to my group fitness studio. That is particularly the case if I am on a pool deck in a centre which is really busy. So I've learned in other countries, if you're in an area which is really busy, to be extremely vigilant on your security, on keeping your bag safe. That's also something which I take onto pool deck with me. So I will often leave my phone in my bag in a staff area. So hence I don't even have my phone near me. So for my music, I use an iPod. So hence, saying Google Translate to go and check a word may not be working quite so well. The other issue with Google Translate is it doesn't always give a pronunciation guide. So as of writing this video, I want you to go into Google Translate if you have it on your phone or if you have it on your computer. I want you to type in English to Farsi. Type in the word hello. It will come up with the writing system for Farsi, but there's no pronunciation guide and there's no sound guide. So unless you can read Persian script or Arabic script really, then you're going to be sort of really struggling to figure out exactly how you're going to say that word in Farsi. The reality is that even if a language is written in the Latin script, it may not have a pronunciation which we're going to be used to. So to take French as an example. In French, to say please, you say it as s'il vous plaît. So even though it looks like s'il vous plaît, you say it as s'il vous plaît. In order to say, do you have some coffee, it's est-ce que vous avez du café? So you can see that how you pronounce the vous in particular differs depending on whether there is a consonant or a vowel after it. And that's just one little anomaly with French. The reality is that there are a lot more than that. So for example, this might look like Versailles, but it is actually pronounced Versailles. Another example would be Polish, where you have a whole heap of letters which look a bit like the English letters, but they often have diacritics or little slashes through them or other bits and pieces through them. And that indicates a whole different way of pronouncing that letter. So for example, in order to say thank you, in Polish, you would say dziękuję ci. Actually, I never said the she bit when I was in Poland. I just said dziękuję and people said that I was getting it right. In order to say bathroom in Polish, it's not łazienka, it's łazienka. The L with a strike through it is pronounced as a W sound. So we had a little look at this one last time, Irish Gaelic. So in order to say hello in Irish Gaelic, it is Dia Gwit, not Dia Dweet. To say good morning, it is not Maiden Maith, it is pronounced Marden Wa. To say I like coffee in Irish Gaelic, it is not Is Maith Liom Kafa, instead it is Walam Kafa. So those pronunciations are very different to what might be expected of Latin lettering. Incidentally, if you look up Irish Gaelic on Google Translate, you will not get a pronunciation guide, nor will you get a sound guide. It is not there as of the making of this video. So this is where phrase books have come in really handy. So I went and bought a number of phrase books. I actually already had quite a few from my travels overseas. I generally always grab a phrase book for just about every language which I encounter or expect to encounter overseas, but I went and added to them significantly. See? Yes, I think they are breeding. So the great thing with phrase books is that they give you a pronunciation guide. They also give you a few little tips on cultural information which you may not pick up from Google Translate. For example, the first time I said hello in Croatian to somebody who was from Croatia, by the way, I said it as Stravo because I'd looked it up on Google Translate and that was the word which was given to me. However, when I greeted her with that word, she said to me, thank you in a way, but Stravo is the word that was used for hello during Tito's reign. We would prefer to forget about his dictatorship. So really, we'd probably prefer that you just said hello. So I was a bit taken aback with that. So the great thing with the phrase book is that it gives you information about what to use. So in this book, in the Croatian section, you will not find the word Stravo there. You will find the word bog for hi or hello. And then you'll find other words for good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So that's something which I learned from that, hey, Google Translate isn't foolproof. The other factor with phrase books is that at the back, particularly with ones such as this one, say China or Middle East, it gives you a whole heap of information about the different festivals that people might be engaging with from if they come from those countries. That is really valuable. A few weeks ago we had Lunar New Year, and I learned, just from looking in the back of this book, the greeting to say at Lunar New Year. So at the end of my classes, particularly at the end of my aqua classes, where I have a number of Asians, but also at the end of some of my Pilates classes, I would say Gong Xi Fa Sai, which is the greeting which is given at New Year in Mandarin at Lunar New Year. The eyes of my Asian patrons lit up. Now, the reality is that Lunar New Year isn't just celebrated in China, it's also celebrated in Malaysia and also in Vietnam, and I presume over other areas of Asia as well. I just know about those three countries as yes, they definitely do. Knowing how to say Gong Xi Fa Sai in one of the big languages of that area was really handy. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to say it, use a greeting in Vietnamese or any of the other languages, and I do have a Vietnamese lady in one of my classes. But just one language, it made everyone look up. And so that was really handy. I wouldn't have known to even think about looking that up on Google Translate if I'd have just been relying on that. Another example is in a couple of months' time, it's Persian New Year. So I've got some Persian patrons in my classes. So I now know to say Happy New Year in the Persian language. I haven't quite learned it just yet. Around about 20th of March. So a little fun side note, if your New Year's resolutions for this year just aren't working, you can make a whole new lot and say it's Persian New Year and get into the fun again then. So obviously I won't always have a phrase book with me when I'm trying to talk to my classes before a class or afterwards. And that kind of looks a bit tacky if you're trying to have a conversation with someone whilst you're looking in a book. Kind of doesn't work so well. So I realised I was going to need some cheat notes, however. So I decided to put my cheat notes onto things which I basically will bring down to a pool deck or to my class and which are out at all times. So one thing which I have which is out at all times is my water bottle. So this is one of my water bottles, And on it, you will see that there are the words for hello in quite a few different languages. Now, I haven't put all of the words for hello in every language which is spoken in Melbourne. It's 251 languages, and I didn't quite have a big enough water bottle for that. But I put enough languages there just to make a little bit of a smattering of them. Now, I've chosen a range of languages, so not just the languages which I'm trying to pick up how to say hello and thank you in, so mainly Asiatic or Asian languages, African languages and Middle Eastern languages. I've also put in European languages as well. So that way people didn't think it was one-sided, because obviously my water bottle is in a place where people can see it. And I didn't want people to start to think, oh, she's choosing one lot of people over others. What is she on about? No, I wanted it to be a bit more inclusive than that. So that was my solution. How to say thank you. I decided to put that on the back of a couple of my iPods. So this is one of my iPods, and that has a few words for thank you in different languages. So one is shukran, which is Arabic, tashakkuridum, which is Turkish. The other one is motashakkaran, which is Farsi, and then salamat, which is Tagalog, or Filipino, shishini, which is Mandarin, and doje, which is Cantonese. Now, I must admit, the ones which I use the most are Turkish, a little bit of Arabic here and there, Mandarin, I use that a lot, and also Farsi. I haven't really used Cantonese that much. So that's just a couple of things which I've done just to make my life a little bit easier. So beyond the cheat notes and the phrase books, how else do I plan on achieving this? The answer is to get in there and use the languages. Create memories, because that's the most powerful way to learn a language that there is. Now, next time I talk to you, I really want to take you through how you might want to go about finding out where someone is from. Just the little conversations that you can have to generate that. And from there, that way you can take it away, and next time you see them, hopefully speak to them in their language. So for now, stay tuned, stay classy, have a good day.